Hello, welcome back. Let's get going right away. Uh, we are going to talk about arrays. So this is pretty exciting because we are ready to move on and manage large amounts of data because we will now have a structure that can make that happen. And they are called arrays. This is not the only structure to do that, but it's one of them. So here we are to make an array that is a structure to hold a set number of data. This is a couple of ways to do it. So this is an array that is going to hold integers, and that's the notation that you use. Int array, those square brackets make it be an int array. There's the name of the array. And new int says I'm going to make a new um, int array, which is actually an object. So when you saw that new word, so you now know that arrays are objects. More on that later. The other one, string array, called names, also has 5 spots. Just like my int array has 5 spots. You can make that number be whatever you want as long as it's an integer and greater than 0. Uh, So that's how you make an array in one way, and those could be any types at all, including an array of objects, but more on that later too. Here is the other way, using an initializer list. You just list out the items you'd like in that array, separated by comma, and uh, the initializer list uses that curly bracket there. So that's slightly confusing. When you just specify the size, it's the square bracket, but when you have an initializer list, it is the curly bracket. Um, that declares the array, and what's called what you might say is the size of the array in this one case is 4. But in arrays, we don't say size, we say length. So the length of that array is 4. The length of ages is 5. The length of names is 5. More on that later. All right, so that's how you make an array, and the heights array has values in there. The ages array actually is all filled with zeros, and your string array is all nulls. Okay, we'll look into that in some detail later. Um, but you use them just like you could and did with um, regular variable types, but you just need to reference which item of that list you would like. And the way you do that is with the square brackets right here. So that means I'm going to display, since it's not on 6.1, because that is at position 1, 6.1. Remember, um, everything with computer science would be this is position 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So that means there's 4 items from 0 to 3. To change or assign values, you do them the same way you did your primitives. You just reference the type. So that would be set heights, position 1, heights of 1, some people say, or heights at 1 to a new value, and then print out that value from that point on. It's that new value. So that's why it would display 6.2 in this case. Keyboard input works the same as it did if I wanted to start assigning values to my arrays that I declared up top. You just do, text.io.getlin int, put it into that first position of my ages array, text.io.getlin string, put it in that first position of the names array. Again, first position is position 0. And I could keep going with this and assign it to 1. From the keyboard, and that will start filling up my array. Of course, this is anytime I start repeating code like this, um, 2 sets of keyboard input, I should probably put that in a loop, which we will do tomorrow. Um, and or the next one. So that's how you assign values and reassign values to positions in an array. So remember, the big thing is you have a position. All right. Finally, the last thing I want to get to is this idea of length. So if you look at my little set of code down here, I am generating a random number. All of this should look familiar. casting an int, multiplying math.random times. Now, heights.length, this is how you reference how many values are in that array. It's heights.length. And this, so I could have put a 4 here because that's what height.length is. Heights.length is. You might notice though, with an array, there are no parentheses, okay? You do not do that like the dot length method in strings had the parentheses. The length method, or length, it's actually a variable inside of my array, does not have them. So you'll get used to that. And what's happening here is this prints out a random value from my heights array. And the random value could be anywhere. This random could be anywhere from, could be 0, could be 1, could be 2, could be 3, because of the way I set up my multiplication above. So that is my introduction to arrays. What you should do is, of course, read and complete and watch all of the parts of Runestone right here. Um, they will get to everything I went over and a little bit more. Um, it's a big concept for us. It will make things a lot easier when we're managing lots of pieces of data. Talk to you soon. Bye.